Dressing up as a unicorn seems to be one of the most popular looks at the moment for dress-up parties or Halloween. I'm going to show you how to get this magical look with your hair and face alone. Let's start with the hair first. What you're going to need is hair ties, a hair comb and a hairbrush, glitter hairspray, coloured hairspray and normal hairspray, gel, bobby pins, foil, paper and some tape. Here's Maddie. So let's get started. The first step, with your comb, you want to start with the middle part. Then from the crown of your head, go all the way down to the sides of the ears. And repeat on the other side. Leave these front sections down and we'll tie the back up in a high pony. You want the pony to sit right on the top of your head. Going back to your side sections, a little bit less than halfway, section off. Flipping that front half over. Then we're pulling the strand of hair underneath and wrapping around the ponytail to hide the elastic. Grab a bobby pin and pin it into place. And repeat on the other side. Bring the front strands forward and then with hairspray or gel, a light spray all over. Grab your piece of paper, fold it in half and start making a cone shape. When you're happy with the shape, you're just going to tape it off to secure it. Just tuck the ends in. You're then going to wrap it in foil, take a square sheet and start rolling it. With the excess foil, just tuck it in the cone. I'll grab another sheet of foil, stick it on top and wrap upwards. I've just left a little bit at the end. I'll fold it over to pin it to the hair, crisscrossing. You want to fasten it from both sides. And to make sure it's the most secure, I'm going to grab a pin going straight towards the horn. With the sections left at the front, I'm going to grab smaller sections, cross it over the horn and slowly working my way up. Take your bobby pin and go straight down the back of the horn. Essentially, we want to cover the whole horn with the hair. Nearly there. And with this silver bit up top, I'm just going to move the hair around and that should cover it up. Grab your hairspray and pat it down. But the hard part's done. Now for the colour and glitter hairspray, give them a shake. Use your hand to shield their face. I would advise doing this outside and having an adult help you with this. Oh. Don't forget the pony. Let's get silver for that. That's enough silver. Finish off with glitter. You want to put lots of glitter on because it's a unicorn. The unicorn hair is done. Early on, I showed you how to create this amazing unicorn hair. Now we need an equally magical face to match it. This is what you're going to need. Shimmery eyeshadows in silver and gold, pinks, and then more vibrant pinks, purples and blue shadows, silver stars, and glitter in a range of colours. You'll also need makeup brushes and art brushes. Let's start with a white shimmery eyeshadow on a makeup brush. Place that all over the forehead, along the cheekbones and down the bridge of the nose. Keep going until you have a nice white base and you can move on to the gold colour. Placing that directly over the white with the same brush. This is to add a different dimension. Next, we're going in with the pinks, mixing them up a bit. I'll grab all 4 shades and going straight on top. For the 4th colour, I'm going to use purple and mainly focusing that along the hairline and down the bottom of the cheekbone. You want to blend the purple eyeshadow into the hairline. Now let's move on to the eyes. I'm going to grab an eyeshadow brush and a hot pink. And that's going to go up to the eyebrow and all over the lid. With the same brush, I'm going with purple, and I'm going to go on top of the pink on the eyelid this time. With a smaller brush, we're going to grab some blue eyeshadow and run that underneath the eye on the lash line. Just be very careful around the eye, it's a delicate area. Now for some glitter. I'm going to take this silver body glitter, squeeze it on the back of my hand, and with an art brush, I'm going to place it everywhere that the eyeshadow has been on. And I'm working my way up through the hairline to the forehead. I'm going to start in small sections though, as it dries quick. Now working quickly, I'm going to grab some loose glitters in a range of pinks, and just with your finger, I'm going to grab some and go over the body glitter. The body glitter is going to help this loose dust stick to the face. Squeezing more body glitter, dipping in with your art brush, and just painting on the forehead, mainly focusing along the hairline, and adding more loose glitter on top. Now we're going to use some body glitter so the stars have something to stick to. Pick up some stars and place it on top. I'm going to start on the inner corner with the most stars and slowly dab to the outer corner. And now to complete the look, grab one large star and place it in the middle of your eyebrows. Using the same process, add body glitter in between the eyebrows and add one large star. There you have it. Who said unicorns don't exist?
Okay, so I got my cool little friend here. Not only is he holding my phone, but he plays all my sounds. Last time we made the body and the legs. This time we're going to do the eyes, the nose, the lips, and the tongue. So to start, we'll need some clay. Also a paintbrush, a knife, a rolling pin, and just a container to hold some water so we can make that slurry to stick all the pieces on. So to start, I think we'll go with the eyes. So for the eyes, all we do is make a couple of spheres, and that just means rolling the clay up in the palm of your hand into a ball. So these can be any size you like. I'm just doing them in probably about the size of a big marble, and just keep rolling it around in the palm of your hands until you've got a nice smooth circle. And let's make 2 of them, or you can make 3, you can make 4, depending how many eyes your creature has. Put them aside and get some more clay to do the pupils. You can make them any shape. You can make them like cats with a nice slit, or you can make them round or square, whatever your creature wants. So I've just made them round, and all we do is roll them into the same spheres. But then what we're going to do is we're going to put it down and squash it so it's flat. And they're going to be stuck on the bigger spheres. That's going to make them look like eyes. Now we're going to make the tentacles, the cords for the eyes. Now these tentacles are going to lift the eyes off the body and almost look like octopus legs or something like that. So I'm just rolling this up into long tentacle-like pieces. Just with your hands, keep rolling it around. I think that looks pretty good. So I just lay that one down, make 2 of them, 1 for each eye. Just keep rolling it around in your hand. And then there's our tentacles. Now I'm going to make some skin for the tentacles. Now this is going to make it fill out, and we can give it the skin some texture, or you can pattern it. You can do whatever you like, but it just holds the eyeball and the tentacle in place. So I'm just going to use a rolling pin, but you can use your hand or anything just to make a flat piece of clay so we can fold it around, kind of like a burrito. Just do that until it's nice and thin. We're going to be using a knife, so make sure an adult's around. Be very careful and make sure your fingertips are nowhere near the blade. Chop that in half, and then we're going to chop it in half again. Okay, so now we've got some pieces of the skin. Grab your tentacle and your eyeball and lay them in there like that. And then we grab another piece and we lay it over the top. This is just going to keep everything in place and look really creepy too. Squish it around in your hands until you get whatever texture you like, and do the same with the other one. So once we've stuck those together and squished down the edges, we're going to put our pupils on. It's just wherever you want it, wherever you want the monster to look, we just give it a little squeeze and just push it down onto there. Then we pick up the knife, trim off the excess, being careful not to cut your fingers, and squish this up, and it starts looking like saggy old skin or a lizard's eye. So the two eyes are done. We'll put them aside to dry, and let's move on to the fin and the tongue. These are easy. So for the fin, get another little clump of clay, and whatever shape you can imagine a fin to be, a bit like a sail, a bit flat, a bit skinny, a bit pointy, doesn't really matter, that's up to you. But for mine, I'm just gonna make it like a fast car or a aeroplane wing. And sometimes if you want to dip your fingers in some water, it'll smooth off the clay a bit, and that way you can get a nice sleek finish to your fin. Once you've got your shape, set it aside with your eyes to dry. So now we're onto the tongue. Now there's all different types of tongues. You've got the snake tongue that splits, you've got the big long dog's tongue. I think I'm gonna do a lizard tongue, a long pointy one. So for that, same process as the fin basically. We just get a piece of clay, squeeze it out with your fingers, and give it a bit of movement, give it a bit of curve or a long point, something that makes it look like it's moving in its mouth, and that'll really bring your creature to life. Okay, so we're gonna leave that to dry. So now we're onto the lips. Now there's all different kinds of lips, all different animal lips. You've got big ones, skinny ones, all up to you. For me, I'm gonna do fish lips. All you do is roll the clay around in your hand like a sausage. Just like the tentacles, roll it round, skinny ends, and do two of them. One can be a bit bigger than the other, just like your top and bottom lip. And then we'll bend them around. The lips are done, the other pieces are dry. It's time to bring our creature to life and stick it all together. Make some slurry by mixing the clay with water, and that'll work just like glue. Okay, all the pieces are on. Creature's coming to life. Tune in tomorrow because we're going to paint him.
Cactuses have an amazing ability to store water. That's why they can survive in a hot, dry desert. Except for my cactuses, they're made out of wire and they're not spiky. Let me show you how to make them. Okay guys, what you need to make these wire cactuses is pencil and paper, some scissors, some wire, some coloured ribbon, some sticky tape, a pot, and of course some pebbles. So the first step is to draw your cactus on a piece of paper as a guide, so when you're bending your wire, you know what shape to put it in. So I'm going to do a long line here, give him a little arm out to the side. We'll come back up and around, give him a nice round head there, and another arm just a little bit higher up, coming back around and down. Now there's lots of different types of cactuses, so you can do little round ones, ones with circles on circles, anything you want. Now let's move on to the next step, the wire. So just put your wire on top of your little guide and just start to bend it around. Now I've used floristry wire because it's easy to bend and you can use scissors to cut it. Now just remember, if you're doing craft at home, have an adult around with you. Now I've used 2 bits of wire because my cactus is a little bit bigger than I planned. Now I'm happy with that, we're just going to trim off the edges. Now I've finished the cactus shape, it's time to thread the ribbon on. So I've chosen a lovely dark green, and we're just going to tape the edge of the ribbon onto the edge of the wire. And then start wrapping it around. This is really tricky. You want to keep the shiny side of the ribbon on the outside, so you need a little bit of patience. But hang in there guys, it will be worth it in the end. So I've just finished wrapping the ribbon around, and I'm just going to fasten it off with a little bit of tape. Now the next step is to add some flowers. So I've got some yellow ribbon here, and I'm just going to tie it off on the top of the head. Trim it down on both sides, and I'm going to cut in the edges so it looks like a flower. Okay, finished cutting my last flower, so it's time to pot up the cactus. Now I'm using a painted terracotta pot, but you can use any container at home. Now let's fill it with the pebbles. Okay, now just fill it right up to the top. And here's the easy bit. You just stick them in. And there we have it, my beautiful flowering cactus.
Hi, my name is Vernon. I'm an artist and my type of art is drawing. Coming into this exhibition and taking in all of the themes that are fairly densely packed into the show, the main thing I would want people to take away from it is that it is a show about my idea of who Aborigines are in this country. It's about the contemporary and historical events that have directly informed my family and my own life. When I talk about the kind of art that I make and the kind of artist that I am, I nearly always describe myself as a drawer. Drawing is what I'm best at. It's what I feel most comfortable doing, and I still think there's lots of things for me to do in drawing. The drawings I have behind me are charcoal drawings. They are portraits drawn directly onto the canvas. They're on linen. I would get them stretched and primed, and then I would prime them again 2 or 3 times just to give myself a good drawing surface. Then I just have charcoal. I've worked with charcoal a lot in my career. It's what I know most, and I find it easier to work with. It's a simple tool. For drawing images this big, I need to project them onto the canvas so you don't lose the proportions of the face. That's really important. I would spend maybe a minute marking up the face. Then I would start rendering, building up layers and layers and layers of detail. And I would usually start with the eyes and spend most of the drawing in the eyes, because for me, portraits are about the gaze and the person who you're wanting to produce a drawing of. If you go right in close, they're technically fairly loose drawings, but you can afford to be loose when you're drawing on that scale. And I would also finish them with a white Conti crayon. It gives the highlights to the face and gives a little bit more shape to the face and personality too. Then it's an acrylic sealer. I use an aerosol sealer. Some of them I've done in one go. They take about 10 or 11 hours. Mostly they take about 3 days. But after they're done, I don't feel tired. I feel really good because, you feel triumphant when you've finished an artwork. My favourite thing is drawing. But outside of that, I've done films and photography and 3D and printmaking. So I'll give anything a go if I think it's a good idea. A great artwork is really 2 things. On the one hand, you have a good idea, but a good idea isn't enough to make up a good artwork. And on the other hand, you have really good skills. You have to train yourself. You've got to train yourself to be a drawer, or train yourself to know what colours can do for you. But if you don't have a good idea to underpin those hard practices, then what you have is something that looks okay. Whereas if you mix really good skill with really good idea, you're going to get a good artwork every time. Sometimes people will approach me directly and let me know what they think of the work. And for me, it's always interesting to find out how differently people read your work. When you make the work yourself, you're only looking at it in one way, and you don't realise that there may be any number of different ideas that people will bring to your work. For me, it all builds and builds and builds on a better idea of who you are as an artist. I was always very, very keen on drawing ever since I was very small. But in terms of being an artist, I suppose I became an artist much, much later when I realised that it was all I wanted to do. The advice I wish I had was, if you're interested in making your own art, you have to go and look at other art. It's your job. You especially have to go and look at bad art so that you know it's bad art. And you have to know that if you're producing bad art yourself, how you go about making good art. The best advice I've gotten is there are no shortcuts, and don't go looking for any. You just have to work and produce a lot of art. I think we're in one of the most interesting periods of art right now, where basically technology is taking over. I think it's all exciting, but again, that all has to be underpinned with good ideas about what makes art.